everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you'll see from the title today, I've got a book haul for you, or like a mini book haul. I've got 3 books that I'm going to talk you through. So as you guys will have seen if you watch my vlog, or you can tell from the background, I'm currently in Stoke because of the coronavirus lockdown. I didn't want to be in my tiny little London room for potentially months on end. So I'm back in Stoke, which meant that a lot of the books on my TBR pile are in London. So I kind of finished, I was reading like an 800-page book by Sarah J Maas, which I'm going to have a review coming up on very soon. And when I finished that, I was like, phew. So yes, I have a very big bookshelf behind me there. But I've read every single book on that shelf, and I find it really difficult to reread books because I already know what's going to happen. So I did a little cheeky Amazon order of 3 books to try and get me through lockdown a bit further when it comes to reading. And I'm going to talk you through what they are. Start with the book that I've already started, and that is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe or Scythe series. I've already read the first book, absolutely loved it, raced through it. The series is basically about a world where AI is kind of taken over, and we humans have conquered death. It's like a perfect world. There's no bad stuff. Or if there is bad stuff, it's really limited, and there's this thing called the Thunderhead which basically rules. There's no government, and because there's no natural death anymore, because there's no accidents or there's no illness, and people can reset their age, obviously if there isn't death, the population would be too much and the earth would die. So there is this thing called scythes, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, who basically kill people. They are the ones who are in control of death. They're professional scythes who kill people. They have a quota every month to make sure that the balance of population is right. And book 2 follows straight on from book 1. The Thunderhead, which is the AI that rules the world, cannot interact with the scythe, and it's basically very human in a world that is not human anymore. It's not political. It's not evil. The scythedom is, and this book kind of picks up where book 1 drops off. I'd say I'm actually, how far am I through this? I'm 380 pages through this, so I'm actually got quite far already. I'm really enjoying it. If you've not checked this series out, I would recommend it. It's really interesting. It's a concept that I've not sort of heard before, especially in this sense, especially with the AI and so many different factions. It's political, it's dystopian, it's scientific. There's a lot going on in this world, so it's quite interesting. The next book that I picked up is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is book 1 in the Grishaverse series. This series has been ranted and raved about on BookTube for years. It's one that I think this is this is a trilogy which is complete, and then Leigh Bardugo has released a second series in this world which is also complete. So I sort of knew that if I liked this book, then there'd be a lot for me to get my teeth stuck into. Honestly, this book has such a big following. It's kind of a surprise that I've not picked it up yet. It's about a world with magic and royalty. Kind of haven't looked into it too much. It's not a super thick book either, which is interesting. And yeah, I did start reading this. I got like 5 pages in and then decided I was going to pick up Thunderhead instead, just because some of the names, so it kind of feels the names feel quite Russian or Eastern European, and so I'm dyslexic, so as you can imagine, when I was saying scythe or scythe, things like that really throw me. So I think this might take me a little bit to get into just because of the names and stuff, but it does seem like a really interesting world, and it's got magic and politics and magic that people maybe don't know that they have, and how it all sort of, I think it's a war-torn country and all these different things. So yeah, and I say it's not super thick, so hopefully it wouldn't take me too long to get into. But it is a world that has been ranted and raved about and waxed lyrical about on BookTube for years, so it's kind of a surprise that I've not delved into it yet. And then the third and final book that I picked up in my little haul is The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. This is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, the acclaimed book which was then turned into the amazing series. I absolutely love the series. I think it's one of those series that people, and I haven't read the book, but I've watched the original film and watched the series, and from what I've been told the book in the original film from like, I think it was like the 80s, are pretty much the same. So I kind of already know everything I needed to know to go into this. But actually, in my opinion, the series, especially maybe the first season and the book, no, not necessarily just the first season, just because I think the series, especially in season 2 and 3, go into a lot more detail about how things happen. But it's a sort of thing that I think everyone should watch, just from a perspective of, you need to be aware of where our world could go, of like the acts of a small few with power, what they can do, but also that those people aren't necessarily what we would consider terrorists right now. But this book is the sequel, following 3 people within the world of the Testament, within the world of Handmaid's Tale. I think it's a few years on. And yeah, I'm quite intrigued. I've kind of purposely not delved too deeply into what this book involves sort of storyline wise, so I'm really interested. Obviously it's won quite a lot of prizes. It won the Booker Prize in 2019. Loads of people have said this was like their favourite book of last year, so I've heard very good things. So those are the 3 books that I picked up in my little haul. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, what your thoughts were, or if you've got any recommendations for me based on these books. As I said, I'm over halfway now in Thunderhead, so I probably will do a review of that once I finished it. And I am probably either now or in a little bit going to film another book review, so there is going to be some more book content coming up on my channel very soon. Book content is what my channel was built on, so I'm really looking forward to sort of getting back into that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you soon. Bye.